Somebody asked my youngest daughter several years ago, said, "Your dad got 9 lives?" She said, 9 lives. Said he passed that so long ago we quit counting. I don't know how many he's had and don't know how many more he's got. My name is Ray Matthews. In 2 weeks from yesterday, I'll be 80 years old. I've had 2 heart attacks. I've had double carotid artery surgery, cancer twice. I've punched out 2 windshields with my head. I've been in 2 helicopter crashes. Those are the major things, I guess.
Do not let me see that on Facebook.
The plane crash story is probably the most famous one. That it's just an absolute miracle that he survived that.
In 1965, I was spraying crops in a PA-18 150 horsepower engine airplane. And I was involved in a crash that no one could believe I lived through.
I was 3 weeks old when he had the plane crash, so I just go by stories that have been told to me.
It never entered my mind except this one time that I might not make this one, because when you're going in the 70-foot pines wide open in a little airplane, there's not much hope in your face.
The plane crashed. He had too much weight to pull up out of the trees, and he was crashed in a remote area. Somehow he survived the crash, and he managed to crawl out. He'd broken a leg, managed to crawl out and find someone and get help, and so he managed to get out of that one.
This airplane crash was in '65. Meantime, then I had a couple of helicopter crashes that were no big deal, but I had a major heart attack in '74.
I was 9 years old at the time. He had a myocardial infarction, a massive heart attack, and almost died.
And I ran every morning. I was out wide open going. I stayed in good shape, and I had a blame heart attack.
It was definitely grim. My mother, did not really hide the facts from me, even though I was 9. The reality was the doctors really could not do anything more for him. So that was really the first real time that I experienced one of his 9 lives. He pulled out of that miraculously. Everything was pretty good there for about 10 years. And then he had prostate cancer.
I had cancer in '85. I was in and out of Duke operating 9 times in 7 months, and lived through that.
That was an ordeal. Probably affected about 6 years of his life before it was finally behind him, but he's been 26 years now since he had the cancer.
And I had a recurrence 3 years later, and I had to take radiation therapy for 11 weeks. But Duke called me, I guess, for 10 years or more. They kept calling, wanting to know if I was still, checking to be sure I was still alive. And I've been through a couple of automobile windshields, busted them out with my head, and I've never even had a headache from it. You see the scar there from the time there was 2 people killed, 10 hospitalized, 3 cars, total wrecks at an intersection where a man ran stop sign between 2 of us that were meeting. And they sewed me up then with a head full of shattered glass and no pain shots. And for over 2 years, every time I'd feel a little prick on my washcloth, and I'd keep picking till I got a little piece of glass out. I still had glass coming out of my head for 2 years. And there have been a lot of others. I won't even try to go through those, but there have been a lot of instances in the hospital, going in and out of the hospitals for various problems.
It seems like after I was born, he had the plane crash, and then it's been health issues since then, but he just keeps pulling through somehow, and you know, don't understand why, but he's just a tough person, I guess. I don't know what to say about it other than it is what it is.
Never went into the hospital voluntarily, but one time, and that's when I had the prostate cancer, that I went in on my own 2 feet voluntarily. Most of the time, I could get through it. It's a mindset, I guess. And I can't explain it. Wouldn't even attempt to.
He does have a very tough mental attitude. Of course, that doesn't always help you in situations that he's been in.
I don't think sickness, I think health. And I just don't consider most things a problem. They're just bumps in the road. That's life. It comes and goes. I know that there are still probably things to happen. The Bible tells us it is appointed unto man once to die, and after that the judgment. When that happens, it happens. I believe that God still heals people, and I think he still has angels watching after us, looking after us, this sort of thing, yeah. I'm a strong believer in the faith, and I'm a strong believer in God, and I just couldn't, nothing else that I know of I could add to it that would be more than that.